right, so let's see what we have for love here. So it's just a general reading here. So, what's next in love? What are the current energies in love? We'll kind of see how it plays out. I think we'll start with what are the current energies in the love? Ooh, the Emperor and the Eight of Wands in reverse. Okay, so this is definitely somebody being stubborn and not communicating something. Okay, because the Emperor is definitely somebody who is kind of like a boss, an authority figure, right? They're very analytical and grounded kind of in their ways. Um, and then the Eight of Wands can be about fast moving communication, or fast moving communication. Interesting. Back and forth communication or things moving fast. This just kind of has to me a kind of stubborn, I'm not talking to you sort of vibe. So let's see why this person is not talking. Why? Oh, the Two of Swords. So they're kind of indecisive, right? I think it's indecision about what to say, okay? Because usually with the Two of Swords, right, you can't kind of see the path forward. You have a choice to make. So it feels a little bit like being unsure of what to say. And they're really overwhelmed by this, okay? We're kind of carrying that with them. So I'm going to actually move these over here so that we can keep going. What makes them feel indecisive? Oh, some floor cards. Let's see. This is like waiting. Okay, so you have the Three of Wands. They're taking a pause. They're waiting here. And then you have the Page of Cups. So this says to me that they're either waiting for a sign, or they're waiting for an apology. So I mean, I suppose it's possible. That could be one message for one person and one for another. It does make sense a lot of times if we're not talking to somebody or we're kind of in that mindset of, well, I'm not talking to her until she apologizes. I could definitely see that being something. But then also, um, it could just be that they're waiting for a sign. Like, is it safe? Is it safe to have this communication? Okay. I kind of would like to pull, use the Hidden Oracle deck here to kind of see what they would say to you. If they could get past this kind of overwhelm, not knowing what to say. Okay, we need to let each other go. What else might they say? This one says, you speak to me through music and I'm becoming a better person. Okay, so interestingly enough, to me, I think back now to this Page of Cups, right? Because this can be about signs or synchronicities. And I said this person is possibly waiting for a sign, right? But they might be listening for these signs through music, okay? So songs might be making them think of you, okay? It may be that this person feels like this break is needed because, they're trying to be better for you potentially. I do want a little more information though about the pause. Tell me more about what has happened here. Oof, we have engagement, but it's in the reverse. This says engagement, partnership, commitment, eternity, completion, union. I mean, it's in the reverse, so I mean, I wouldn't go as far as to say that this is like a broken engagement. Of course, it could be. It could be any disconnection, right, of any kind, any sort of breakup. And let's see why. Okay, you have hammer, sabotage, rebuilding, interrogation, repetitive, persistent, working on it. This person did say, I'm becoming a better person. They could be working on it. But it also feels a little bit like self-sabotage. Let's see what else. Hmm. So you had the snake, okay, and this does talk about competition, enemy, the other woman. It did come out in reverse. So I would say if this is a suspicion of yours, I don't know that I would necessarily bank on there being another party involved. I didn't see anything in the other cards to indicate that. Of course, you know your situation best. So let's see how you're feeling about all this. How is the viewer feeling about the no contact? Ooh, two popped out. Okay, yeah. You have the World in reverse and the Ten of Cups in reverse. Okay, so you definitely feel like there's unfinished business when it comes to your happiness. Okay, it could even be with this imagery, you know, your world is turned upside down, right? You thought you had this happiness, and now you just kind of don't know what you want, but you definitely believe that there's unfinished business here. Let's see what advice from Spirit. What advice? Oof, that came right out. The Magician. It was in reverse. I don't know if I'm going to take it that way. As far as advice, one, if the Magician is in reverse, it kind of means that this is like a more manipulative, tricky energy. So advice would be to get out of that way of being. Okay, we don't want to try to manipulate people to do the things that we want them to do. Okay, because it's not going to benefit us. It's not going to benefit them. It's not fair to them, right? And ultimately, it's not fair to ourselves. Okay, we're just drawing manipulative energy in when we send that out. Okay, but it was upright. Sorry, I was gonna flip it around. Um, Now I've lost my train of thought. Okay, let's see. I asked about advice for you, and you have the Magician. So again, just knowing that you're in control, okay? Regardless of how the circumstance goes, you're in control of yourself. Okay, you're not in control of the other person. So this is advice for you. It's pretty important. It feels. What other advice? Okay. So you have the wheel, which I think you can see pretty good there. The Wheel of Fortune and the Queen of Wands for advice. Okay, one, the Queen of Wands, which really goes like if I just flip that Magician back upside down where we have this manipulative energy. Okay, now the Queen of Wands, one, she's in her confidence. Okay, but she also has a lot of integrity. She's honest. Okay, she does not lie. I mean, I suppose we all lie, right, at some point or another. But overall, right, she has a lot of honesty to her. Okay. And you had the World here in reverse, which talked about unfinished business. You can even talk about the inability to move past patterns. Now, the Wheel of Fortune is talking about it's time to move things forward. Okay. It's time to complete cycles. Okay. But also, it's saying that you have good fortune when you're in your confidence and when you're telling the truth. Okay. When you're not controlling. In fact, you know, like look at how she has her arms out. Okay. And she has the dark and the light on either side. She's calm, like she has the dice. She's lucky. She's lucky in all that she does. Okay, now she's drawing from both places, right? From her light and her dark. She's kind of aware, but she's kind of talking about moving forward um, with this mindset of good fortune. But it's also being able to, like, if we picture those coins that she's standing on, or those wheels, wheels would be more accurate. It is called the Wheel of Fortune after all. If we look at those wheels, right? And we think of them as cycles, repetitive cycles, cycles that we've lived over and over and whatnot. Okay. She's now on top of them. Okay. Which means what? She's conquered them. So you're being encouraged to A, be honest, not rely on manipulation, not control, be in your confidence, right? So you can close out some of these cycles. Let's just pull a couple oracle here now, advice for love for you. Oof. And that's a little too much. You can probably see release here, but it was not a lot. If there's any addictions that you're kind of using to cope with this, you may want to release that. What advice? Okay. Okay. Well, you have a soulmate card here. Your soulmate loves, accepts, and respects you. So you're definitely going to want to make sure that what you're involving yourself in falls under this. And then you also have fate. This is a destined partnership. So let's just talk about this for a minute before we get too into it, okay? The Wheel of Fortune can also talk about karmic relationships, okay? Destiny. So you can take this how you will, okay? Again, you know your situation better than I do. But sometimes in soulmate connections, in twin flame connections, in karmic connections, right, we have this kind of tendency to, I would say, romanticize it, right? Well, so and so's my soulmate, so and so's my twin flame, right? This is why this, and this is why we're meant to be together. And this is why, even though, we've been on again, off again for the past 7 years, why I have to stay with him. I just know he's my twin flame. I'm drawn to him like a moth to a flame, right? However, you want to do that. And I am absolutely not making fun of anyone or criticizing that. I'm kind of dramatizing it, okay, to just kind of get my point across. But definitely, again, not putting anyone down. I think we've all been in situations where we've had these patterns in relationships, or we've been drawn to somebody who maybe isn't good for us, or what have you. The point is in karmic relationships, right? What's really one of the main things that's going on, yes, we feel a deep attraction and a deep connection to the person, but also it's in our life to really teach us a lot about our shadow. Okay, so you see this person, she has that black coming out. That's her shadow, right? So in relationships like these, they're going to bring up the parts of you that really, really need to be healed. Okay, so it is going to have this up and down kind of roller coaster sort of feel to it. Okay, it's going to be hard, it's going to be challenging, it's going to make us look at pieces of ourselves that we've really tried to keep hidden for a long time, pieces of ourselves that we don't want to actually see. And just because there's lots of growth in these relationships, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're always healthy. It doesn't mean that we're destined to be with the person. Okay. Now, this may not resonate for everybody in this situation. Okay. But I feel like it is for somebody. Okay. Now, for somebody else, it may just be that someone's being stubborn and they're not talking to you because they think that you need to apologize to them. Okay. So, and and perhaps things will turn out just fine. So, take the story that works for you and feels right in your heart, right? Because tarot is really just um, me telling you what your intuition already knows. So, when I say something and you feel a strong resistance and you're like, no, that's not for me, then it's not for you. Okay. And if you feel I say something and you're like, "Oh my gosh, that really sounds like me," or "that hits the nail on the head," or "that's what Sarah said to me last week," right? Then it is for you. But just be careful that you don't lie to yourself also, right? That you're not resisting something that is true. And I think you'll know the difference. Okay. So I pulled two cards here. And this says children are important to this relationship. Okay, so it could be that one or both of you has children, and then you do have strictly sexual in the reverse. It says this connection is passionate but not enduring. It's in the reverse. So, I mean, my first thought is maybe that, maybe one or both of you have children and it impacts your ability to be together, to spend time together, right? Because as we're raising children, sometimes we have less time to do all the things that we want to do. Or, boy, that I'm going to cut that out later. What I mean is, we don't always focus on ourselves first, right? We put our children first. So, we don't always spend our time really on ourselves, right? Because we're including our children. So I hope that makes sense. And then let's just do some final advice here. Yeah, past life relationship. You've known each other before. That kind of fell right on the soulmate card. Passion. Allow your heart to and soul to sing with joy. Right, we had that passion card as well. And one more. Express your love. Go ahead and make the romantic gesture. Okay, so if you've been waiting for this person to contact you, and they're waiting for an apology, or they're waiting for something, a message, a sign from you, this is saying to express your love, to just go ahead and do that. Okay. Plus, it's a lot, it's a lot easier than people being stubborn or not communicating with each other, right? And if you are afraid, it's easier to kind of rip that band-aid off, right? All right, let's see. I think that's everything. Thanks.